Hi folks, welcome back to the Carver's Foot Shop. This is Arlene. I want to tell you something that I kind of forgot to show you before we start on the painting phase here. I put a little V-cut right in here for the binder of the book, and I took a little pin and well, you can take a little pin. I took my knife and made a little three-hole cut, like taking the cut down one side and then the other, and then from the top, and it made a little triangular cut. But you can also take a safety pin and push it down in there, or a little nail, and make those little holes to make it look like little buttonholes for the shirt, okay, for the t-shirt. So that's the one thing I did. The other thing I also did was I actually took a plane, and I hadn't done this before, and I thought I'm going to try it. It worked out beautifully. To clean up, you can see I have a lot of the same little guys. I have the short, really tiny one, but they all look a little different when I'm done with them. One has a little bit longer beard, and the other one's just standing a little bit differently. But here's the one that we're copying from. And the one thing we want to do is we wanted to clean them up, because when you handle them and when you're sharpening your knife, they can get dirty. Now, I used to use Clorox, and that's not always the best thing to use. What I went ahead and did was I took a large wide paintbrush and went into the kitchen and took just regular hand soap and poured a little bit on, and then put it under the water, under the faucet, and really just got every little crevice and rubbed it really hard. You know, not super hard, but made sure all the crevices were hit and stuff. And then I rinsed it off quickly. You don't want to leave it in the water too long, okay? Then after that, I took a hair dryer for a little bit and dried off. Well, I took a hand towel, dried it off, and then took a hair dryer and dried it. But of course, the ends will soak up a lot more on your carving than any place else. So what I went ahead and did was I had a fan. It's summertime here. I just had a small little fan blowing on it all night long, overnight, to make sure they were good and dry. And then the next day, I took what I use as Krylon, crystal clear, okay, and I have these little sticks that you see here. They're called paint sticks. All that is a dowel with a brad nail put at the end, and then I took it to a grinder to make the point. Okay, so I hammered the nail in, and then the butt part top I took a grinder and grind it off, and that way I can just stick them in here like so, and I can use it as a paint stick that I don't have to handle it. Okay, and here is the 2x4 that I drew. I actually drilled some holes. I can't show you the whole thing because I don't have room here to show you, but when you're done painting a piece, you can just stick it in there and let it sit, and then take it out when you're ready to do another color. I have about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have about 10 holes in this thing, so I can put a bunch of them together. So see, these are all on sticks as well, and just to put them on like so. Okay, that way you can paint them. They won't hit each other. Okay, I have a video on this on my YouTube channel if you're interested in it, but I basically told you how to do it. You want to keep it about 4 inches long, and then you just want to grind off the end here, you know, grind off the tip of the brad here after you hammer it in. And then I put a little glue in on the top and then hammered it in, and that way it will stay very nicely. Okay, so you can use that as a nice little tool to hold your piece when you're painting. The things that you will need before we paint is you're going to need red paint. Now let me just make one clarification with the red paint. Before I go to that, when I use the Krylon, I absolutely, I kind of give it a couple of coats. It takes about 10 minutes for it to shake it up good, and hold it in on your stick, and then just turn it as you're spraying it. You can turn it, and it will, you know, you can spray it and turn it, and then make sure you get the end part, okay? And down here by the feet, because wherever it cuts across, it's going to soak up more. So that's what you're trying to seal up on that. Okay, so let me find the puppy that we've actually worked on here, the Santa. Alright, what we're going to do And you can see I have another one done here some time ago. And I'm going to have about 5 of these. Well, I actually have 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll actually have 4 of these up for sale when this is done. So if you're interested in it, you can let me know. I think they'll run about $25 for each one if you're interested in it. So if you order, well, I'll have those posted on another site. But anyhow, what I'll do is I'll go ahead and show you the paints that we'll need. So once you go ahead and seal it, you're going to need a few things. You're going to need a couple paint brushes. I use usually a wide one, and I use one of these thinner ones to do the smaller portions. You know, you want something a little fine, and something that is a little bit more wider for your larger pieces. You're going to need black paint, you're going to need red paint. Okay, and I use blue paint for the eyes, white for the shirt, and I used some brown or burnt umber for the mixture on this red. Now this red, you can see this red's a little darker than this one here. Okay, I like the darker a little bit better, and we did antique it, so I'll show you how to do that when we get to that. There's also a video on my YouTube about how to antiquing. If you go to my YouTube channel, the Carver's Woodshop channel on YouTube, you'll go where it says search above the videos that are loaded. You can push in or type in, I'll think of it, antiquing, and then this will come up. You know, how to make a paint stick. Well, this will be another neat idea. But anyhow, what you want to do is you want to put some water in a jar, and these jars you can purchase at any paint place like Michael's or AC Moore. These are a little expensive. I just cleaned this one out. It had red in it, and I mixed the two together. I like the little darker one. And these are great. The reason these are so nice is they won't tip over, okay, when they're full. Not like a little paper cup where you can knock it over and get it everywhere. So what you want to do is you want to mix some brown and just a tad of brown with the red with some water, and you want to get it to a consistency that it will cover somewhat like this. Okay, this is what the color is going to be. It's the center color. You can see the variations of red. This is with the brown. The brown actually just makes it a little deeper color than it gives it a little richer color to it when you add some brown to it. Okay, so it just deepens the color slightly. So we're going to go ahead and start. What you'll need also is some paper towels, just a couple of them. You'll need a glass of water, or 2 glasses. I usually have 2 glasses here, and then I use a styrofoam. Okay, you can buy that at any dollar store or Walmart. They come in really super handy. What I'm going to do is I'm going to place this down in here, and this is where we're going to mix some of our paints or thin some of our paints. Let me just get rid of this one here, and then when we come back we'll start.